Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. Kristin here, and today I am talking 3 strategies to help to simplify meal planning. Living a healthy, balanced life is no small feat, especially when you're a mom. With meals to cook, laundry to load, work to do, and humans to raise, it can be easy to feel like we're in an on-again, off-again relationship with healthy living. But it doesn't have to feel this way. I believe living a healthy life has become way too complicated. What we need isn't a new plan or program telling us what to eat or how to live. We need simple, uncomplicated routines and information that's going to help us live our best, most beautiful life without rules and restrictions. Join me, Kristin Dovbniak, holistic health coach, certified intuitive eating counselor, and mama of 2, for weekly conversations on what it means to live a healthy, balanced life, uncomplicate eating, and simplify in every area of mom life. Before we jump in, if you've been listening to the last couple of episodes, you know what I'm about to say right now, but if you haven't joined my free meal planning challenge yet, what are you waiting for? Join us for 4 weeks of meal planning bliss. Meal planning you will actually stick with beyond the end of the month. Head to healthymamakris.com/plan to join for free. We start next week on September 7th. Meal planning can feel like a chore, I know. It's one of those necessary evils no one wants to do, but everyone knows is beneficial, so many of us do it reluctantly. And sometimes our plans work, and sometimes they totally fail. Sometimes they're delicious and everyone eats it, and sometimes they're downright boring. But as with any habit that's going to improve our life, consistency is key. And meal planning should make your life easier, not harder. So today, I want to share 3 strategies for simplifying meal planning. P.S. I have a whole episode on meal planning for back to school from last year, so if you want more of the basics, head to that link in my show notes. Okay, let's simplify. Strategy number 1, don't try and reinvent the wheel. Start with what you know. The 2 biggest mistakes I see women make when it comes to meal planning are, number 1, planning meals that are too complicated or don't fit in with the time that they have, and number 2, creating a new plan with 5 to 7 new recipes every single week. Mama, it does not have to be that complicated, trust me. This really starts with a couple things here. Number 1, it starts with looking at your calendar. You want to base your plan on 3 things. Okay, number 1, how often you shop. So if you want to shop at the grocery store every week, then you want to create a weekly plan. If you want to shop at the grocery store every couple of weeks, well, then you want to plan for 2 weeks at a time. So that's number 1. Start by planning based on how often you shop. And number 2, plan based on your schedule. Remember, this needs to work for you. This is why so many pre-made meal plans off the internet just simply don't work for you and your life because they don't know your life. So that's why these plans don't last, and it's so much more helpful to make something that actually works for you and your family. I want this to work for your family and your life. So number 3 is asking which days are the biggest struggle. These are the days you need the easiest meals, whether it's a crock pot meal or an Instant Pot dinner or something you've already prepped ahead. Plan accordingly based on your schedule when you need the most support. This also means utilizing a family favorites list. Just start with your tried and true meals you know your family loves and that you can make easily. Balance happens over time. You do not need to eat the same meals weekly, but you can start with 2 to 3 meals that are staples and add new ones from there. Make sure the cooking time is reasonable for the time you actually have, or do some light prep to ease the burden. Strategy number 2 is utilize my 4-3-2-1 method. Okay, you guys, I could literally write a whole episode just on this method, and for that reason, I have a whole mini course coming out on it later this month. It's launching with the relaunch of my meal prep course, so if you're into this, stay tuned and get on the wait list at the link in the show notes, but I'm going to give you an overview of the process now. The 4-3-2-1 method is something I originally created geared towards meal prep based on a couple different methods I've heard from fellow food bloggers, but I wanted to find a way to simplify the process for both prep and planning, and this is it. I've been using it for about the past 18 months myself and with clients, and everyone I've talked to, everyone that's implemented, loves how much this simplifies meal planning and food prep. So here's how it goes. 4 produce items: This is dinner only. Breakfast, lunch, and snacks are up to you. So you can add those in as well. And this doesn't include staple produce items that you always have in your fridge. So for us, that's carrot, celery, and onions. So we don't include those. This is other produce items. 3, proteins. This can be animal-based proteins or plant-based proteins, whatever floats your boat. 2, starches or grains. So this can be rice, quinoa, potatoes, sweet potatoes, winter squash, whatever sort of starches or grains you like as sort of a base for your meal. 2 of those. And 1 flavor boost. So this can be a sauce, a dip, an herb, some chopped nuts, some cheese, something to put on top of your meals to mix it up. This is the base of a healthy meal, minus some healthy fat in there. And typically that's the sauce or the topping that you're putting on that has some of that as well. But just think about this. It makes it so easy knowing that you've got produce on hand, you've got proteins on hand, you've got starches or grains and some sort of a flavor boost, and you can mix and match from there. But you can do this in 2 ways. You can either choose the items that are in season or the items that appeal to you and mix and match to create meals throughout the week if you're more creative. Or what you can do is choose 1 or 2 recipes either off your family favorites list or something that's on your list of meals to try, maybe something you found off of Pinterest, and then choose 2 to 3 more that have similar ingredients. This eases both the planning and the prep that week. So for instance, if I want to make my Tex-Mex turkey taco pie, which is one of my most popular recipes on my website, that protein is ground turkey. The produce that are in there are onions, which are a staple produce, and some peppers, and then there's sweet potatoes on top and some cheese. So I would think, okay, I've got a produce item there, I've got a starch there, I've got a protein there, and a flavor boost. How can I take those same items and use them in another recipe? So I'm like, okay, sweet potatoes, and we've got that cheese. Maybe I'll make my sweet potato black bean tacos. Hey, there's another protein there. Maybe I'll also make a black bean soup that week. Oh, and I put peppers and onions in my black bean soup. So I've already got those ingredients too. Do you see how that works? It simplifies things so much. Whether you just want to start with ingredients or you want to start with a recipe and go from there, when you do prep, you're prepping a bunch of the same ingredient together instead of prepping 17 different produce items. I want to simplify this for you. It does not have to be complicated. So try out the 4-3-2-1 method and let me know over on Instagram at HealthyMamaChris how you like it. Strategy number 3 works for so many busy mamas. Try themed meals. There are so many options for themed meals. When you write your plans down, you can also rotate the plans that worked well to save yourself a ton of time. So a few ideas for theme meals include a soup or a stew, slow cooker, pasta night, stir fry, burger bar, roast, which is chicken, beef, pork, whatever works for you, taco night, burrito bowls, baked potato night, salad bar, pizza night, chili bar, breakfast for dinner, snack plate night, meatless Monday, casserole, sheet pan, soup and sandwich, leftovers night, seafood, international, DIY nachos, mini pizzas. You can do themes based on cuisine. You could also do themes for breakfast as well. So many options here, but by choosing one theme for each night of the week, or at least the 5 nights of the week that are typically the busiest for most of us, typically we choose meals for Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday is date night and Saturday is family night. And usually we do pizza, or sometimes we'll do a different sort of takeout as well. But choosing themes can also help you start your meal plan off with way less options. And this just simplifies things so much. I'm going to talk more about all 3 of these strategies in my meal planning challenge. So if you haven't yet joined, healthymamachris.com/plan. I want you in there. It's 100% free. It's going to be so much fun. So if you loved these tips, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another episode of the podcast. And don't forget to leave a star rating and review so that more people see and listen to the podcast. I'm all about creating a healthier, happier, more balanced life. I hope you have a beautiful day, friends, and we'll be back on Monday for a brand new episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Healthy Balanced Mama podcast. If you loved it, would you take a screenshot and share it with a friend over on Instagram and tag me in it? It helps me so much to know what you love and are taking away from each episode. If you really loved it, would you hop over to iTunes and give me a star rating and review? Every rating and review helps this podcast be seen and heard by more women who need to hear the message of balance and wellness without deprivation. It's the best free gift you could give me. And as a reminder, the information and opinions on this podcast are meant for education and inspiration only and are not to be taken as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult with a trusted practitioner before making any changes. Have a beautiful day, friend, and I'll see you in the next episode.